Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Brad and Dad podcast. My name is not Brad. This is my dad.
I am Dad.
He is Dad.
Not my name, but
no,
it's how I'm known around here.
We're not going by names at this point. It's the internet. Growing up, it's like you never give your name away on the internet. You don't put. Now everybody's got the real. No one cares anymore.
Yeah, Joshua friend.
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that your information's already getting bought and sold across. Your name is out there.
That's right.
If you made a Facebook in 2009, you forget anonymity. Anyway, it's a corporate hellscape. That's part of, I guess, what we're here to talk about is Disney. I mean, they control a lot of it, but we're here to talk about nerd stuff and kind of, news from the pop culture sphere for the week and some tabletop Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop game kind of topics. We're going to start out with a spoiler recap of this week's episode of
Spoiler alert.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Wandering Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. Episode 4. Spoilers for the first segment. We'll have I don't have time codes yet. I might go back and fix those in, but
I just dropped in a Mark Hamill spoiler alert.
A Mark Hamill spoiler alert?
Yeah.
Meaning
there's one talk show where he's on and he's like, spoiler alert.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Mark Hamill has spoken. If you're here, I mean, I don't know, complain to him on Twitter or something.
Right. Tweet him. Like
it's definitely falls on him, not us. But anyway, yeah. So spoilers, that's a long way of saying it. And then we're going to go over some of the nerd news from the week.
A couple good things this week, man.
There were some very interesting, some disappointing things, but some very interesting.
I was excited.
Things.
I got. Yeah.
You got good news. You had some good eating this week. I had less to go off of, but
I was excited when I heard this one.
Regardless, we're gonna finish off with. I believe we were gonna discuss the alignments, the Dungeons and Dragons alignments of some of the Marvel characters from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and potentially beyond, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about what class they might be, but I don't know. That might be ancillary.
That could be a whole show on itself.
That's a lot.
I think. We'll do that. That's good.
So we'll get to all of that. Starting out, episode 4. Spoiler alert.
Recap it for us because the country bumpkins that we were watching last night.
Yeah.
In preparation, and our internet pooped out at the 30-minute mark. We lost the last 10 minutes. So I literally just finished watching it. And as I got done, I'm like, that's where all the action was, man. Like the biggest things happened in the last 10 minutes. So
So this is what we got basically this week was starting out. We had a flashback to Wakanda, which was very interesting. And it was 6 years ago. So this was cool. Yeah, this is when Bucky was in Wakanda getting deprogrammed. And I think this is after he got like unfrozen and was already deprogrammed, but they were basically just testing it out using the kind of the freight train, blah, 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 code words on him. And they didn't activate. And it was just kind of watching his emotional journey as he was like terrified of hearing the words and then kind of realizing they didn't control him anymore. Fantastic acting. Good Lord, what a time.
Good.
That was the most acting I've seen there's not a lot of Marvel characters that have had that kind of a emotional, just like, wow, that was Sebastian.
Yeah, it was a bit kinda, it was a goosebumps moment.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. So anyway, we flash back forward, and one of the Dora Milaje is basically telling Bucky, hey, you have 8 hours before we come and take Zemo ourselves. So they get moving. They're trying to find Carly Morgenthau via the sort of funeral service of this Mama Donya character, who is apparently sort of a community leader and influenced a lot of people. So they're trying to figure out where this funeral is taking place. Zemo manages to find out where, but kind of holds the information over them. We had John Walker and Lamar catch up with Bucky and Sam. They went to this funeral. Sam tried to talk Carly down against John's wishes. He seemed to have a handle on it before John kicked down the door and came in all rah rah America and screwed the situation up. Zemo managed to stomp and get rid of the serum, except for one vial which he missed, which Mr. Walker pocketed and took later after debating whether or not he was worthy, deciding, I guess, that he needed it to keep up with everybody else. They were back in the safe house. Dora Milaje showed up for Zemo. They had a big fight because Captain America decided to go in there and be like, oh, don't you know who I am? This is my mission. They kicked his ass like firmly.
That was
Zemo. Zemo got away. Listen,
yes,
let's not mince words. Absolutely, like no holds barred. That was just a beatdown.
Total beatdown.
And
he had no idea the Dora Milaje had those capabilities.
He was just kind of like, whoa, this seems like, I love that he was.
Well, in fact, after he was beaten, he's sitting there kind of licking his wounds. He's like, and they didn't even have serum, right?
That was my favorite part. He was so like, they were like, he was floored. But anyway, so Zemo really got away. Beat. Oh my gosh, like humiliated too, like in front of Sam and Bucky, like what a moment. But on the heels of that, Zemo gets away, and Carly asked Sam to meet alone because she was like, okay, maybe he is still a good guy, maybe he teams up with us. They meet. Walker's following close behind. Everybody kind of clashes at the middle. Lamar, Battlestar, gets captured and he's killed in this fray. Where it's revealed that Walker has taken this serum, and that sends Walker off the deep end, and he busts out a window, chases one of these flag smashers down, and decides that smashing flags is not the only thing that would be happening today. That bloodstained shield at the end, that's a chilling. That's the most gory Marvel's gotten, I think, in the MCU. Like maybe the Netflix shows, but
that was a little stark.
And like effective though. Like
it was dark.
Where do you think we go from here?
For things stood out for me. One, I just think that there was a moment where Walker showed his true colors again. It was subtle, but if he was really that tight with Lamar, would he have not taken 2 serums, one for each of them?
My understanding was only one survived. Zemo smashed them all, and one of them kind of rolled off. So it wasn't that. But at the same time, But I don't think you're wrong, because I don't think it's necessarily. Mind you, I don't know how the serum works, but
if it's like one dose per person kind of thing, one vial per person.
Maybe he would be like, it's clearly an ego trip that he's using. He's trying to fill these boots because if he was really interested in being this upstanding kind of hero, he would have given that up and been like, hey, I found this. This is the only one left. Here you go. People
even to his best buddy when they're sitting there in the atrium talking, and he's like, he's sort of sussing it out with him. He's like, hey, would you take it if you had the chance, and not letting on that he had a dose of it.
And then
it all came to bear at the end when he laid into the flag smasher.
I thought that this was my favorite episode of the show because I really liked how they explored Walker's thought process for taking the serum, specifically because this episode felt like it kind of echoed the same stuff that Steve did as Captain America, like early, he was kind of this joke. He was humiliated on stage, right? He was like a puppet. He tries to go off book and do his own thing. He loses his best friend, but whereas Steve held the moral high ground, we watch how someone with less moral less moral core and less scruples gets corrupted. The same process that Steve went through, the same events, because of the person Walker is at his heart. Yeah, I thought that was really compelling. And all the characters had some really cool perspectives on super soldiers in the serum in general. I thought they really explored that interestingly.
Yeah. I thought there was a cool dynamic that developed to just, again, in another subtle line where Sam says he's going to meet Carly on his own, and Bucky's like, I'm going with you.
Yeah.
And there was that moment where, like, okay, I think they're a team now.
And Sam didn't fight him on it. He was like, yeah.
Oh,
like,
totally.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah. Their hatred of Zemo and Walker and everybody else, like they are growing to trust and respect each other.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And it definitely has that sense of they're not ending the series, because in what was it, episode 2, where they're like, this is our lot, like I won't see you again after this mission. Like, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna be buddies. Question though, is the shield going to end up in anyone's hands? They're talking a lot about destroying it. Do we actually end up with a Captain America by the end of the show, or are they laying the groundwork for that symbol being retired with Steve Rogers?
No, we're gonna have another Cap.
I agree.
We're gonna have another Cap, and it's gonna be Sam.
I think, especially given the conversation with Carly, I think they really illustrated why he's worthy. Like, he is the good man at his core. The fact that he's kind of the only guy who's like staunchly like, I wouldn't take it. Like, of course not. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is the marker of,
Look, boys and girls, if we could just get like life lessons for a second. If you've got someone who wants power, who wants influence, who wants to be the leader up front, they're probably not the right person for the job.
It's that humility, right? It's
so
yeah.
It's humility for sure. And if they find themselves under the burden of leadership and they're resistant to it, but they still say yes, you're like, okay, that's our guy.
And that's interesting too, because the beginning of episode 2, Walker is in that locker room before he goes out onto the football field for Good Morning America. And he's like, he has that feeling of like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't, like he's kind of putting on that show, but it's clear with his behavior, like he says that, and I'm sure he does feel that pressure. He does feel that like desire to, I don't think he's all bad, deep down, like he's trying to do something right, but it's so tied up in his desire to be a hero. Like he's trying to make up for, like, the way him and Lamar talked, sounded like they did some messed up stuff as soldiers, right? Like that he feels there's a PTSD and there's a guilt there that instead he feels that he needs to use. This is a way of making up for that. This is a way of compensating. And so he took the serum, not because he's like, this is what needs to be done. This is, someone needs to do this and be this symbol and bring hope. He's doing it because I need to prove that I'm a good guy. Like he is trying so hard to project, look at me, I'm Captain America, to convince himself he's Captain. It's super compelling. I think he is the villain. I think that's fair to say. Do we say that? Is he the villain of the show?
Yes.
More so than I think Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
But he's a compelling villain, like compared to Hayward in WandaVision, who's just shooting kids by the end. Like, this is a far more nuanced.
He makes it pretty easy.
This is a far more nuanced.
Makes it easy for us.
Yeah. I like that they have done.
But
go for it.
I'm just curious too. Yeah, like now where does it go? So this is episode 4. We got 2 left.
2 left. Yeah.
So does Walker head down, further down the dark road? How far down? Like, what is he at the end? Episode 6. Yeah. Who are we left with?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I agree. I think there's a lot of
say, as crazy Captain America, who's carrying the shield, but also.
Yeah. Well, what do they do with him now? Because he is, with the serum gone and the scientist dead, he is the only other super soldier on the planet. Like there's Bucky, there's Sam. I mean, Steve's probably alive, but he's out of the picture. sorry, not Sam. There's
Yeah.
Bucky. There are the Flag Smashers, and there's John. So I know in the comics he becomes.
Now, does Sam have any of it?
He doesn't. He has the wings, which he seems to
No.
be very good at using.
Right.
And it seems to me, based on
Yeah.
Walker, you can use the shield without having serum. It doesn't require that. You can still be
That seems
effective.
weird. Like because he was fighting Wakanda there and throwing that shield into stone pillars. I was like, what the heck? How does that work, man?
I mean, he when he threw it into the pillar, he'd already taken it. Like, are you talking about when he was?
But no, that was
against
when he was actually
Smashers.
fighting.
It didn't sink into anything until.
Well, because there was another. Maybe there was, yeah.
What happened was
that's right.
He didn't throw it into it. I think he got it stuck. One of the Dora Milaje speared the shield strap in that fight, and he was stuck to the table because he was pinned in the strap underneath his arm. I think it's definitely a suspension of disbelief thing.
But even the way that he bounced around and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't obey the laws of physics. You got to kind of hand wave it, but they've been consistent at least. At least we know normal powered people. We've seen them use it on, so it's not going to be a big leap. But I think so.
Yeah.
In the comics, John Walker becomes U.S. agent, who is, after he kind of disgraces himself as Captain America in his comic story.
Yeah.
He becomes more of a black ops, like the government uses him for missions that they don't want.
Oh, yeah.
He's sort of a
Jason Bourne style.
Yeah. So that would be an interesting spot for him. Sort of a gray villainous, and the other question is, so we know that Sam ends up with the shield. I think that's a safe bet. There's footage in the trailers of him training with it. Like, that's where we're going. How does he get it? Because there's the government now that several hundred people or several dozen people have filmed in 4K John Walker beheading a man, begging for his life in a square. Does the U.S. government, in a foreign country, does the U.S. government disavow him and take the shield? Or are they going to double down and be like, no, Captain America was chasing down a terrorist and he was doing his job and we applaud him for doing what needed to be done? What are they going to do?
I would suggest that he's going to have to, I don't know if he's going to have to turn himself in, or if they're going to have to take it by force, which is an interesting one on its own. Yeah. If he becomes U.S. agent, they got to maintain some semblance of a relationship between him and the U.S. government. Mm-hmm. I would say they recover him, they recover the shield, and then there's some sort of ceremonial turnover to Sam.
Yeah,
I guess that would be my first tendency. But maybe they defeat Walker and Sam takes the shield and becomes somewhat of a free agent mercenary Cap. Not mercenary so much, but not really beholden to the government, but still the symbol of the U.S.
I definitely think that Sam will not be working he's not going to be a soldier. I don't think that's a possibility with how they've portrayed that aspect of Captain America. Like, they're clearly trying to set up, it's almost a relic. Like, Captain America, the name is there, but he's not really about America. It's more so, and I think in the comics it's the same way. It's more so about what America could or should be versus what it is. And that's what they're showing. Like, John Walker is America as it is in a lot of ways, right? Like, he is this hyper militarized, gung ho, I do what I want dude. Whereas Steve Rogers and Sam are a bit more this do what's right even when everybody tells you, it's not. But I think that because they're all
still there.
I think we might have lost connection. I can hear you, but
I think I lost you.
Okay. What about now? Because it sometimes reconnects. Are we back? Give me a thumbs up when we're back.
We're back. I hear you now.
Okay. It lagged out a bit there. Oop. And he's gone. Okay, well, this is Doug Kramer is the host now. Hi, can you hear me? You're muted again. There we go.
About that, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
We're back.
I don't know when.
Let's keep rolling.
I don't know when you lost me there. But I was just about to say, do you think because we cut right when he sort of was holding that shield, like that he is surrounded, Carly is in the crowd, Sam and Bucky are in the crowd, and there's like tons of people around. Do you think Bucky might just like bum rush him and take the shield?
Yeah, I can't see them stand by and let it go.
That's the thing, is I'm like, he's not going to just walk away. They're not going to let him.
Yeah, no, as Avengers, or former Avengers,
yeah,
they almost have a chance to redeem or restart their image by, apprehending this American military vigilante.
I wonder if that's
could be the catalyst. Could be the catalyst for the turnover right there.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, now that you're saying that, I think the idea that because part of my thought process was this is caught on camera. This is a horrific act with that shield. The shield as a symbol has just been ruined. Like that was kind of my thought, is like, you can't come back from this and have Captain America show up again as a new face. No one's going to trust it. Yep. But if in those same videos, Sam and Bucky, specifically Sam, immediately shows up, they take the shield and they like redeem it. You then have the spirit of Captain America is not tarnished because everybody sees the difference between Walker and Sam.
Yeah, that's huge. That actually makes a lot of sense.
And so an action scene right at the top of next episode, I would be very into. Just Roid Rage Walker versus Bucky and Sam.
Let's go. Let's go, buddy.
I'm into it. That's a lot of the recap. One last thing is, where do you think the power broker factors in? Last two episodes.
I don't know. What does he do? They kind of dropped off this episode. Like there wasn't much. I don't know.
I'm intrigued.
I have to think that one through. I'm not sure.
I feel like
Soldier or the serum's gone. Carly's an interesting one. Yeah.
She go?
I thought Carly was a little bit heavy-handed calling Sam's sister. And then she kind of like when Sam and her met up, she's like, no, I would never hurt your sister. And so I'm like, you're trying to play like tough mobster, but I don't think you really are. And you were always trying to help people with the serum, and so I don't know that Carly's actually a villain. In fact, is there any way that she turns out to be an ally?
I agree. I think that's maybe the turn the show takes is now because, Carly did bomb a building with a car bomb and kill people. Her hands are not clean, but I agree. I think at her heart, she's been driven to these extremes by the conditions she's in. And I appreciate that they have done that with nuance, showing that she is misguided in her actions, but her morals, she is trying to do something right. And I like that Sam as Captain America is recognizing that and not taking heavy-handed steps. He's trying to bridge that gap and find a middle ground.
Right.
I don't know if they'll find it. I feel like we might end up with a situation where despite his best efforts, she's still corrupted. But I like the idea that the last couple episodes, our focus is Walker as this villainous force and the Flag Smashers / Sam and Bucky teaming up against this perverted symbol of freedom, and
we're getting lag again.
Her. Oh, are we? Shoot. But yeah, do you think that that's where we're ending up, is Walker as the villain and then Flag Smashers plus Bucky plus Sam team up against him?
I think so. Yeah. Who's Walker got on his side now that Lamar's gone? Like, he kind of stands alone. Is he going to have any kind of an alliance with the power broker? That doesn't even make sense.
Ooh.
But he's by himself. Like,
if he is on his own, he might turn to the power broker because he's like, hey, listen, I have the last of your serum in my blood. Maybe you can make more from me.
Yeah.
You want to catch Carly as bad as I do. And she's teamed up with these guys. Let's kill 3 birds with one stone.
Right.
And that could be where, and then depending on where Sharon Carter is, if she's working for the power broker or is the power broker, that could be the linchpin of who wins or loses, is her flipping to one side or the other. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, great episode. Very much enjoyed it. 2 episodes left. And every successive week we get closer to June, I'm getting more and more excited.
Which is where the real action happens.
and that's going to fold us into our next section, nerd news. What did we call it? Is it just called nerd news?
News from the nerd realm.
News. That's a worse name. I was like, I don't like nerd news. And nerd, that's not a good name. It's descriptive. So
you don't like nerd news, but news from the nerd realm is worse or better?
I feel like it's like one devil or the other. I'm picky with my names, but it's a fine stand-in. I don't know.
We gotta have a brainstorm session.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think junk food and get some creativity going, because we talk about. I'm here.
You bet. You're back.
I'm back. I was kind of going for a second there.
I hope these recordings are not a pain to edit together.
What did you miss? I don't think it'll be too bad. I think my copy should be good and your copy should be good.
I think, and as long as Zoom doesn't protract the length, as long as it's as long as it has anyway. Let's
hit
fine.
News from the nerd realm.
Let's hit news. We'll brainstorm. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Item 1, go for it.
Can I go first?
You go first. It's your week, man.
Yeah, you hit the same one that I did. Hasbro Pulse had their big convention this week.
They did,
which was an online deal, obviously, because COVID. But there was a whole pile of new action figures announced.
Mm-hmm.
And in my wheelhouse, my favorite are a bunch of the action figures for the upcoming Snake Eyes movie, which leads to another news item. But these action figures are super fun, man.
They're cool. Hey,
I got a shot on the screen right now.
Yeah.
You'll see it in post-production, but I've got a shot of 4 of the figures. One fun action shot with Scarlet smoking Baroness with a right hook. They look really awesome, and the articulation, if you go to the Hasbro Pulse Facebook page, you can see all of the photos. And they do some like diorama kind of action shots, like we would do when we were kids. We would take our action figures out to the woods or to the dirt pile or whatever, and you'd set up scenes, and you got Tomax and Zemo sliding down the line on their sky hook, and you'd have guys hanging from branches and stuff, and hiding behind rocks, and so they do some of those and take the stills of them. So they're pretty funny, and the figures look fantastic.
Yeah,
most of them are pre-order only. And they're not actually out till October, which is a long time considering the news coming up here. So,
well, when is the movie coming out? Is that the next bit? Because I didn't see a.
Brad, I'm so glad you asked. Because the next piece of news that I got was two. It was a rainbow day. It rained and then it was sunny. Top Gun Maverick is delayed for the sixth time.
Is it actually the 6th time?
Until November 19th. And Mission Impossible sequels have been delayed as well. So I don't know. Does that have anything to do with Mr. Tom Cruise himself? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it was like May, right?
But that was the bad news in the movie world. But the good news is,
come on. The good news is what? Oh, what a day! What a day! This is why I pay for internet, folks.
And the good news is,
that's it. We're gone. We're out. End of the podcast. Good news is yes. Say it before it cuts out again.
I got it on my app. I kept going. I knew you lagged out, but I kept going. But yeah, Snake Eyes is released now in July. I think it was July 9th or something like that. So it's early July. So it's been bumped up from its October release date, which I think is why the action figures aren't actually available until October. They are initially were going to coordinate it with the launch of the movie. I don't think that's crazy that they would move the movie up, but can they get action figure production up as well? I don't know.
As far as I'm aware, like action figures like this take some effort to produce, so it makes sense that timeline would be weirder to change. Whereas a movie, like the movie's done by now, right? Like it's on a moment's notice. They could release it if they really wanted. So, yeah.
But if you go back, here's an interesting one. If you go back to, there's a Netflix series called The Toys That Made Us. And if you go back and you watch the G.I. Joe and the Star Wars episodes, there's some significant issues that come up with movies and action figures and the profits that they can make from them when they've coordinated the two, or the cartoons and the action figures, when they've got the action figure coming out and then they show up in an episode of the cartoons like right after, like sales just like keep
they need to
up. But if they
synergize
out of sync, there can definitely be some serious potential hits on that too. So it'll be interesting to watch it. But I'm happy the movie bumped up.
That's exciting. Actually, that one I'm far more excited for Snake Eyes than I am for Black Widow. I'll say that. I think that just because we haven't seen anything from Snake Eyes other than these toys now. Yeah. Something that I did want to say just about these designs. First of all, I'm shocked that they have Baroness, Cobra, and like Storm Shadow and Scarlet all in this movie. I was assuming it was like Snake Eyes and largely unrelated characters. Like this looks like a proper G.I. Joe movie. If all of these action figures are representative of characters in the film and not just like included as part of the series for toys' sake. I just realized I get a unibrow from the shadow my phone is or my light is leaving. But I'm really impressed at how many characters they have, and then also at how accurate. Like I had to double check that these weren't just like new action figures because they look so accurate to the classic looks. It didn't look like movie costumes. I had to like, it's really cool that they're just going for it.
There's a little bit of a spoiler, I think, in the action figures. The Snake Eyes action figure comes with a second head, a swappable head.
Yes.
Which is the face of Henry Golding, who's playing Snake Eyes.
Right.
And of course, if you know G.I. Joe lore, like the big secret was, what does Snake Eyes look like? When we found out in maskings way back, I can't even remember what issue it was, way back in the comic series, he was too disfigured to kind of even keep your lunch down if you saw him, you know?
Right, like Deadpool style.
So the movie is going to take place before his severe accident, or maybe his accident plays into it. That would be super cool if we actually got to see the full story of how Snake Eyes, you know, came to be part of the Arashikage clan, and then joined the Joes, or was disfigured in war and then joined the Joes. Like all of that will be it'd be pretty sweet. I'm so excited. Super pumped. Yo Joe.
It'll be Yo Joe. It'll be interesting because I do think that, I mean, obviously a Hollywood studio is going to want to put their lead actor in like their regular face, you know, on screen. Is why Iron Man never had the helmet on for important scenes, or Spider-Man. Like they want the actor's face on camera more often than not, right? But I think it would be interesting if the movie had him already working with the Joes by the time he's like disfigured. Like, because I think my understanding of it is that that's significantly, he joins once he is fully formed Snake Eyes. So that feels to me like they want to turn this into some more movies quickly, and so they're not going to waste time. That sounds mean to say it's wasting time. They're not going to spend time with the characters in their own separate worlds. They're going to start out with this world connected and these characters existing, which I'm fine with, because that's why I'm there to see a G.I. Joe movie. I don't want them to play coy with like, oh, where's Cobra? Like I want Cobra Commander on screen being like, I'm Cobra Commander. That'd be great. I think that would be the sooner the better.
Please put in the comments, scrub ahead to the time code here. Brad's impression of Cobra Commander. That was
do you
good.
have the plans or not? I do voices for D&D all week, baby. I got to use that one for some goblin or something. So
if you actually want a fun exercise,
and I lost you.
I'm still here. You got me?
No. You're like, if you want a fun exercise, nothing.
Oh yeah, okay. If you want a fun Saturday morning exercise, grab yourself a bowl of Sugar Crisp, sit down, load up the classic like 1980s GI Joe cartoons. Watch like 3 or 4 episodes and recognize how low budget it is because they're using Cobra Commander's voice actor, Duke's voice actor, and Scarlett's voice actor in like so many of the just cast off characters, like the one-offs.
The random background guys. Yeah, that's funny. I love it.
What I do, man, I watch an episode of GI Joe every Saturday morning with a bowl of Captain Crunch or Sugar Crisp or something like that. It's awesome. And there was a congressman or something that they were giving a tour to the Joe base, and it was totally Duke's voice.
That's
and
really
Duke
funny.
wasn't on.
They got to have him conveniently swap out like it's an actor. That's great. That's really funny. I didn't know that, but totally makes sense, right? Like it's a children's show. They don't have the budget for 1 billion actors, so they gotta make use of who they have. That's really funny. I mean,
okay, what else we got for news? You had a couple pieces.
So I didn't have a ton. That wasn't the big one was well, actually, okay. So I was lying because first of all, briefly, Avengers Campus at Disneyland is opening on June 4th. I saw this. And I remember from maybe it was a couple years ago. I can't remember. They were talking about it. And that's the one with the bonkers Spider-Man animatronic that actually swings around. Have you seen that?
I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh, you got to look up the test footage of this thing because it's like an actual physical animatronic of Spider-Man that catapult into the air and he swings around.
That's
like,
so cool.
like it's crazy. And it looks like him actually doing his like gymnastic kind of flips and stuff, like, but he's on cranes or whatever, and it just looks like Spider-Man is swinging around Avengers Campus. Like it's crazy. Tom Holland's got his voice on it. Like it's anyway. That stuff is really cool. I'm never going to be able to go, and who knows if June 4th is going to be safe to. I mean, 1 in 4 people in the U.S. I think are already vaccinated, so adults anyway. So they by June I think will be okay, but here in Canada it's a lot slower. But that's going to be really cool. I love to see the showmanship put into theme parks and stuff. The behind the scenes and the how they make everything look and the illusion of it. DC has had a lot of drama this week.
You know who's going to Disney in August?
Is that you? Are you going to Disneyland in August?
Yeah, my football team might be going down. So
good for you.
We always hit.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, that's going to be genuinely. That's going to be really cool. I think it's the Disneyland California location. Might have been. Well, yeah, that's because Disney World is the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's California Adventures across the parking lot from the Disneyland theme park, and I was actually there last August. No, it was a year and a half ago because last August was COVID. But
yeah,
a year and a half ago, so August 2019, I was there. It was all under construction.
Yeah,
but they had all done it up, logoed with Stark Enterprises, so everything was hidden behind, like walls. Avengers colors, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it was all just labeled Stark Enterprises. It was really cool. Even when they were building, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I love that they put the detail into it. So that'll be really cool. The other thing I had on here was DC drama. And a bunch of people on the Justice League side of things have been coming out. Like the writer wanted his name off of the original release. A lot of the actors had beef with the directors. It sounds like rightfully so. Or the director, it was Joss Whedon. No one seemed to have a problem with Zack Snyder, but the executives are kind of firing back. And I think they might have canceled a movie in retaliation because they were worried that people would confuse it for support with Zack Snyder or something. I don't know. It's bonkers stuff. But DC is having a reckoning. They're sort of facing the music. and all of the people are just up in arms while Marvel releases 1 hour of Baron Zemo dancing in the club because the fans wanted it.
I love it.
There's far more cooperation, I think, on the Marvel side of things. They've sorted out their corporate drama, whereas DC is a bit more inflammatory.
It's time to strike. The enemy is in disarray. Let's make a lowball offer they can't refuse. Buy DC out. Keep Batman for Marvel. Throw the rest in the can.
But here's your moral dilemma, Dad, is because you love Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson is making a DC movie right now.
I know.
He's Black Adam.
We got to dump him.
Dump the Rock. You would go, wow, that's cold. You're not even going to give him a chance? You're going to give Jungle Cruise a chance. And you're not going to give DC. Dwayne Johnson is a superhero.
Look, okay. Throw
Jungle
him a
Cruise? Throw him a bone?
Throw Dwayne Johnson a tequila flavored bone.
Right.
And give him a low ball role in the next,
make him
put him
a
in
Marvel.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I mean, they already did 2.
And make him work his way up.
But what about
make him earn his keep in the real realm of super?
We'll see. I have a feeling that DC will find its stride sooner. Well, no, not sooner rather than later. They're going to find it later rather than sooner. But I think that they will find it because the new Batman that's coming out looks really, really good. And if that does well,
yeah,
they might do more.
Played by a vampire.
Listen, Robert Pattinson. No one hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson. Have you seen his interviews where he talks about?
What, are we going to get a glitter Batman?
He loathes that he was in Twilight. He is a very good actor, and that was so. But like, he did some of the commentaries. I've seen.
Gotta be the biggest.
Well, no, but it's so funny because you'll watch interviews where he was on the press junket for Twilight, and then like he did director's commentaries.
To have that behind you,
and he is sassing this movie. He's trashing it. Like behind closed teeth, gritted teeth, he's like throwing so much shade towards these movies that he is in and promoting.
He's still signing autographs for little girly fans, and he's got to sign them.
Yeah. And he's got to feel so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did also.
Item of news.
The Loki trailer came out this week, or the second Loki trailer.
Yes, that's right.
Oh my Lanta. This might have been my favorite Marvel trailer they put out. This show is going to tick so many boxes for me.
Yep.
I'm so excited. I mean,
it was good, man. And
I'm not. Go for it. Sorry.
No, I'm just not a huge Loki fan, but this was super fun. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. And Owen Wilson, awesome.
It's so good. I think I agree. I like Loki. I've liked him in everything he's in, but I'm not like super big Loki fan. In fact, it's funny because when he died in Infinity War, spoilers for Infinity War, I was hopeful that they would keep him dead. And the idea that they would bring him back was I was very against it. Like I was like if they're going to bring anyone back, like anyone but him, you know what I mean? Like just leave him dead. That makes sense for the character. But the way they did it in Endgame and the way that this, like, it's time cops, man. It's weird time travel, alternate dimensions, like Owen Wilson in a interdimensional corporate bureaucracy time bubble. What? It's so weird, and I love it. It's such a bonkers show concept, and it's so interesting that like it could be about anyone. It wouldn't have to be Loki. Like it could just be about Owen Wilson. It could just be Owen Wilson in an office signing like the scene of like the sign this to confirm it's everything you've ever said. Like that's so weird. It's so stupid. It's so funny. I've seen someone. I saw someone speculate. Yeah, that scene. I've seen someone speculate that scene is going to end with because that stack of papers. He's like a thousands of years old god. There's no way that's everything he's ever said. So the idea that he signs those and it takes him hours and hours. And he's like, okay, fine, I did it. And then the guy leads him into the next room, which is like an then warehouse full of, all right, now this is the rest of it because you're a god and you've lived for thousands of years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's June. Yeah. So we have a bit of a break between Winter Soldier and this or in that.
Yeah.
But like I said, every week that gets closer, I get more excited because that is probably the most in my wheelhouse Marvel project they've done in a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. So that's the news, hey?
That's it. That was the big ones. That was fun stuff this week. I actually had some good things.
I said it was like your week and not mine, I lied. There was a lot more this week than I was like, this is actually, so.
Okay, we're pushing 47 minutes with all of our interruptions too, but let's hit talk abbreviated version.
Sure. Yeah, let's do a short one.
So we'll keep it fairly concise.
Yeah, I agree.
So alignments, the classic 9 D&D alignments. Please reference original D&D documents like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is your best resource material for this.
Definitely, people just have those lying around.
So first of all, the original Captain America.
Yeah.
What is his alignment? And then Bucky and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
What are their alignments? And who's up best with the original Cap? And what alignment do they need now?
Yeah. So
I can kick us off.
Go for it, please.
Well, okay. So I was thinking this through, and then I had to question myself. Okay. So first, I would give Captain America a lawful good alignment.
Right.
And only because, like flag wearing, poster boy, poster child of the institution of the American military, all that kind of stuff. It all kind of points to lawful. However, when it comes to the Sokovia Accord, Cap goes to the side of kind of like libertarian, if we want to go political with it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, there should be freedom of choice. We can't be regulating people, all that kind of stuff. And so I would moderate Cap a little bit, and I would say he's neutral good.
I would agree.
So let's start there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that because, again, I would say, and I had this discussion with your other son. You've met him, Michael. And we were talking about the alignment of John Walker.
Yes.
And I argued that he was lawful. Actually, I argued that he was chaotic evil based on the end of the last episode. But he convinced me that lawful evil is much more applicable because he represents an institution. He kind of represents the institutional problems of America. And so I don't think I could agree if you would have said that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is lawful good. I don't think he represents that institution.
Yeah.
I think you're right with how he responded to the Sokovia Accords. He is not, but he's not chaotic good, right? He's not all over the place. He has a moral code.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think neutral good. I think neutral good is where he stands because he will fluctuate between following the law and breaking away from it, depending on what he personally believes is right. And he sticks to that with conviction.
Right.
So yeah, okay. I think we're in agreement on that.
We're in agreement. The original Steve Rogers Captain America, neutral good. Yeah. Okay, let's take because Sam is kind of fixing to be the likely next in line.
Yeah.
Let's take Bucky. If Bucky was to fill the shield, so to speak, of Captain America, what alignment is Bucky stack up to the neutral good Steve Rogers?
I would say he's probably chaotic good. I mean, I don't think he should be held responsible for his past as the Winter Soldier, but he definitely has that moral grayness of he's operated as an assassin. He's operated kind of in the shadows. And even after his programming, he kind of escaped after Winter Soldier. He was off the grid. And at the beginning of Civil War, when the UN came for him after he was blamed for the bombing, he was about to kill those people, if not for Steve's intervention. Like he is much more. And then in the beginning of the TV show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, he kind of he makes amends with that senator, but it makes it out like it's going to be an assassination. Like he uses some pretty morally dubious means to get that meeting by like hacking their car and stuff, but he just ends it with a, hey, I'm not bad anymore. So I think chaotic good is much more, he is 100% willing to go off grid and break the law and, tick people off if it means he's doing what's right. Whereas I think Steve would have more qualms.
On the lawful side, we could agree he's chaotic. Is he good?
Bucky?
He's got to be good.
I think so. Yeah, I think that he definitely, as the Winter Soldier, would be an evil alignment. But he was that persona is a mind controlled him. That's not him really.
Yeah.
He's Steve's best friend. He wanted to protect him. He was with him to the end of the line. I don't think you could argue that he's anything other than good. Like he is 100% on Steve's side.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we're in agreement on that. Bucky, chaotic good. How about Sam? I'm gonna say that Sam, I think, falls more into the neutral good.
I agree.
He sided with Cap following the Sokovia Accords. And he seems to be able to walk that line as well, doing what's necessary, but also upholding, the values of the country and such. So I would, maybe it's pretty black and white, but Sam would be neutral.
No, I agree. I think he's neutral good as well. And I think that's why Steve chose him. I think he saw that as well. He was like, it says here, neutral good on your alignment chart. But I do because that's the people we were going to talk about. But another compelling character who I'm really interested to hear your take on is, what alignment is Zemo?
Oh, Zemo.
Because like the whole, when Infinity War came out, everyone's like, what alignment is Thanos? Zemo, I think, is an even more interesting villain to ascribe one to. I think there's a lot that you could argue.
I'd have to say he's, I wouldn't say he's evil, but I can't quite go as far as say he's good. So I would go with a neutral on that side, but he's trying to ensure the balance by getting rid of the serum, so there's no more abuse of the super soldiers.
Yeah.
So I maybe put him in the lawful neutral category.
Lawful neutral is a really interesting perspective. I think he would view himself as lawful neutral. However,
maybe. Yeah.
I do think that he falls into an evil alignment because regardless of his code, I do think that he has definitely, he bombed the UN, he killed King T'Chaka, he manipulated Bucky to attack his friends. He he has definitely done some morally evil things, even if his philosophy bears out the logic of why he's doing it. He's definitely using evil methods to get there. He's killed civilians. He killed that guy who was in the bathtub to, he has used evil tactics to get what he wants. So I would say he's neutral evil, because he's not quite lawful. I think he is like the flip side to Steve, where both have a code, both have morals, and both are like sticking to those codes. Whereas Steve at his core is doing it for, he's doing what he feels is right. I guess Zemo is as well, though. I guess it's more so that Steve will not compromise. He will not do something. He won't use evil methods to get what he wants. Zemo is 100% willing to compromise on that. But you're right then, though, because that's the definition of neutral. Is he'll just, his morals, wherever they go, he will use evil methods or he will use good methods. It doesn't matter to him which is which.
Yeah.
But
what does he lean to? He leans to the evil methods,
I think he's
not chaotic evil.
No. No, but I don't know that maybe he is lawful evil though, because lawful is lawful kind of having a code, or is it more so like following orders?
Lawful would be having a code and sticking to it pretty rigidly. Like no matter what your code, whether you're like a paladin of the light or a dark paladin, you have your moral code, and that you just will not compromise.
Which is why I wonder if maybe lawful evil is the designation, because like he stomped that serum, no hesitation. Like he was like absolutely all in on stopping this, no matter what gets in his way.
And if you're power hungry, you're not that serum.
Yeah, exactly. Like Walker's lawful evil or neutral. I don't know. Like he took the serum regardless. Like he is.
I could go there.
But it's lawful evil. Anyway. Lawful evil, lawful neutral, something. Anyway, compelling ideas, excellent character to dissect. If Zemo doesn't come back in the show or somewhere else, like Zemo better come back. That's the moral of this story. Is I want Zemo back in more Marvel stuff. But yeah, let's land this. Do you have any other closing stuff? The giveaway will be closing up to like this week, hey?
So here's the thing about our giveaway at Brad and Dad. We have 6 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those, one is your grandma.
One is, I'm pretty sure, me. I think I just subscribed so I would see it on one of my other feeds.
One is you, and one is me with my other channel.
So that's
3 of them have their subscriptions hidden.
Right.
So we don't get to see who they are. So we have 6 subscribers, 3 of whom we know, 2 who don't need the manual. 1, we could send it to Oma. That'd be fun. and the other 3 don't want us to know who they are.
Right.
The number of comments we have on our 3 videos so far is exactly 0, except for the spammers from India.
Right. Who knows? They could use a copy.
So I could send them something.
That might rack up a little bit of shipping and handling costs. I think we'll sort it out. It might be a little too early to do giveaways.
We'll try again. We'll try again another time, but we need to up our marketing plan.
Yeah, that's all right.
We got to get some more eyeballs.
Yeah,
on this.
And man, if this channel gets big and then years from now we forget that we did this and someone comments on episode 1 and they're like, "Oh, my favorite D&D memory," and you're like, "Oh shoot, woo-hoo! They're the only applicant. They technically win." But
I'd send one, man. If they subscribe 5 years later, I'd send them one.
But yeah, so we'll sort that out. But
all right.
Those 3 of you subscribers, if you're listening, thank you so much for doing so. If you were interested and we're hoping to get it, do the commenting thing and we'll talk about it. But
yeah, we'll hook you up.
Engagement. Yeah. Anyway, that is the show. Thank you so much for listening.
So when you see this, like, subscribe, hit the notification button.
Yeah. And follow us on we have a Facebook, we have a Twitter. I was starting a SoundCloud. That's not true. I was gonna say something outlandish, like I almost said MySpace, but then I was like, no, SoundCloud is actually where people put podcasts, so I can't actually use that one. A Newgrounds account. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, it's something. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, we appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back next week for more recaps and news and tabletop topics.
All right.
And we will catch you.
We're lagging out crazy here.
Yeah. Have a good week. If you don't have good internet, pay for it. It's a PSA. This is a expansive advertisement for TELUS, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Alrighty, take care. Cheers.